In this podcast episode, Emma Watson opens up about the complex journey that led her to step back from the spotlight of fame. Over several hours of candid discussion, Emma touches on a wide array of themes, weaving together reflections on authenticity, personal growth, relationships, and the intersections between public and private identity. Emma begins by reflecting on the intense responsibility she felt as a young actress in the public eye, describing public appearances and interviews as a strategic dance, akin to chess, where each move was calculated to protect the value of a film or project. Interviews demanded a form of performative authenticity, leaving little room to simply be herself without the filter of public image or corporate interests. The energy required to maintain this facade was exhausting, and it created a persistent tension between the person Emma truly was and the persona Emma Watson the public expected. Today, Emma values being present for herself above all, embracing a newfound freedom to express her authentic self without needing to represent anyone but her own truth. She elucidates how different media forms shape how authenticity is perceived and experienced by audiences, noting particularly how the intimacy of podcasts allows for deeper and more nuanced conversations than traditional media. This shift toward embracing vulnerability rather than controlling every narrative frame forms a cornerstone of her present identity. Emma's initiation into acting came unexpectedly with the audition for Harry Potter, a role she felt destined for from the outset. However, growing up intimately entwined with Hermione Granger brought complexities as the boundaries between Emma the person and Hermione the character blurred over time. The phenomenon of having an iconic role shape one's entire public persona meant that much of who Emma was became overshadowed by a fictional character loved by millions. This intertwining of identity made the journey towards self-definition challenging. Emma explains that acting initially served as an escape from family tensions and personal discomfort, allowing her to channel intense emotions through performance. Yet as she matured, the compulsion to act with urgency lessened, replaced by a desire to honor deeper parts of herself beyond her roles. This evolution paved the way for Emma's decision to step away from acting temporarily, seeking to rediscover and reclaim her whole self apart from her public image. Emma paints a raw picture of working in the film industry beyond the glamour, the grueling hours, the competitive atmosphere, and the emotional toll of seeking friendship and connection in a field often characterized by transactional relationships. Unlike the family-like environment she experienced on the Harry Potter set, later projects exposed her to rivalry, envy, and a pervasive sense of loneliness. The high-pressure nature of leading roles required Herculean effort, with long days and little rest, leaving actors emotionally and physically depleted. She candidly discusses how this intense lifestyle pushed her immune system to a breaking point, making clear the unsustainable nature of such demand without robust support systems. Emma's experience underscores the mental health challenges endemic in entertainment and high-profile careers, highlighting the liminal space actors occupy between public expectations and private struggles. Emma credits much of her evolution to learning how to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a liability. Early in her career, mistakes made in public, such as her journey toward understanding feminism and intersectionality, felt unbearable. Yet each public misstep became an opportunity to grow and deepen her perspective. One influential lesson came from a mentor who helped her reinterpret discomfort as an indicator of learning rather than a warning signal to flee. Through this process, Emma redefines success not as perfection, but as the courage to attempt, fail, and continue. She celebrates the value in reckoning openly with personal flaws, which cultivates deeper connections and self-compassion. This ethos extends to her activism and relationships, where honesty and grace form the bedrock of meaningful engagement. A significant portion of the conversation focuses on Emma's return to academia and her approach to learning as a vital compass for authentic living. She shares her unconventional learning style, deep, immersive, and infrequent rather than bite-sized daily sessions, and describes how surrounding herself with curious young people rekindled her hopefulness and vision. Engaging with new ideas taught her humility and the importance of continuing to evolve intellectually to maintain integrity in her public and private roles. Emma challenges the cultural expectation that growth must be fast or wildly prolific. Instead, she champions going 3 steps deep as a prerequisite to moving forward effectively. This philosophy underscores her commitment to thoughtful engagement and reflects her shift from a performative existence toward one grounded in genuine internal development. Emma unpacks the surreal and often isolating experience of fame, describing how public events like red carpets feel unnatural rather than glamorous. The sensory overload and the need to perform calm, grace, and perfection while navigating a flurry of cameras and scripted talking points create an alienating atmosphere. She stresses how the public narrative of camaraderie among celebrity casts belies the reality of extreme fatigue, compartmentalized relationships, and limited opportunities to forge genuine connections. Moreover, Emma explains how fame complicates everyday interactions, especially dating, where she often encounters an avatar version of herself rather than the real Emma. This dissonance between public perception and private identity contributes to feelings of loneliness and misunderstanding, underscoring the emotional cost of living life in the public eye. A potent revelation Emma shares is how creative writing, particularly a one-woman play, chronicling her transition from actress and activist to university student, became a vehicle for healing and communication. Writing helped her articulate emotions and experiences that she struggled to communicate even to herself, while sharing the play with close friends and family bridged gaps in understanding. This creative process served both as personal therapy and a means to reveal her authentic self beyond media narratives. Emma encourages others to use art as a tool for processing life's complexities, emphasizing that formal artistic recognition is unnecessary for this form of expression. She views art as liberation, transforming internal struggles into tangible forms that foster connection and empathy. Emma and the host explore the evolving understanding of love, contrasting youthful, romanticized ideals with the nuanced reality of enduring partnership. Emma highlights the dance and continuous micro-adjustments necessary for mutual vulnerability and safety. She reflects on her own experiences, emphasizing that love involves humility, the willingness to be taught, and the courage to be fully known over time. The conversation extends into the broader dynamics of respect, autonomy, and alignment of values within partnerships. Emma speaks to the importance of honoring change in oneself and one's partner, and reframing patience and love as adaptive rather than static. She asserts that true intimacy requires ongoing truth-telling despite risks, and that partnership is a complex, lifelong negotiation rather than a fixed state. Addressing public conflict, particularly relating to her complicated relationship with Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling, Emma advocates for holding multiple truths simultaneously. She rejects the notion of simple binaries that erase nuance, insisting that her respect and gratitude for Rowling's role in her life can coexist with disagreement over certain views. Emma decries the culture of disposability and polarized discourse, emphasizing dignity, respect, and the hope for dialogue as necessary for collective healing. This approach extends to social and political arenas as well, underscoring her belief that tough conversations require grace and the recognition of good intentions amidst deep differences. Emma portrays this stance as part of a larger commitment to inclusivity and compassionate engagement. Emma reveals an evolution in her activism, inspired by the book Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown, which introduced her to the concept of pleasure activism. She candidly shares how early on, her commitment to social justice often involved martyrdom and self-sacrifice, leading to burnout. Reading about making activism sustainable through joy and ease reshaped how she approaches her causes, emphasizing community, mutual care, and balancing seriousness with pleasure. She contrasts this with traditional models of solitary heroism, advocating for collective empowerment and relational support in effecting change. Emma's lessons here reflect her broader ethos of interconnectedness and realism in social movements that seek longevity rather than fleeting victories. As their discussion closes, Emma articulates her belief in the transformative power of truth with kindness as a guiding principle for life and relationships. She draws from yogic philosophy to highlight the balance between honesty and compassion, warning against harshness without care and manipulation disguised as kindness. This principle informs how she navigates communication, whether in activism, intimate relationships, or public discourse. Emma envisions a world where speaking one's microscopic truths with thoughtfulness creates genuine connection rather than conflict. This idea encapsulates much of what she has learned from her multifaceted journey, that love, authenticity, and courage in dialogue form the foundation of meaningful existence.